So today we are chatting a little bit about home gyms, gym memberships, kind of the average cost on those, and then personal trainers, online coaching, and kind of share the pros, the cons, the goods, the bads. And hopefully that sheds some light and help you guys make a decision on what's best for you. And we kind of share our own experience, like what we got going on too, man.
I like it, dude. And really starting at home gym. Like I think that home gym, first off, when a lot of people think of a home gym, and I thought about this for a while, you think about like tons of equipment, right? Just tons and tons of equipment, everything under the sun, like benches and squats and, just everything, right? It's like people think about almost having a gym like that you go to like LA Fitness for at your home. Now, I would say that you could even just have a set of bands and call it a home gym. Like that is a great starting point. And I think a lot of people miss the boat on that, where it's like, you know what? Like I sometimes when I don't feel like doing shit, I'll just do a band workout and you can get a fucking sick workout in with just a set of bands that cost $25-$30 on Amazon.
Yeah.
Right. Not to mention that it allows you to travel. Like it's such a great travel thing. You can put them in a backpack. You can put them in your suitcase, bring them along with you and be able to just like set yourself up for success when you're just moving around, you want to get something in. So like that's kind of the first thing I think about when it comes to a home gym is just the fact that there's like, you don't have to have like any equipment really. You could have just bands and it could be a perfect home gym that allows you to get everything under the sun done.
Yeah. And like bands are one of the things that anytime I bring on a new client into my program, I send them a set of I call them travel bands, but I send them a set of bands because I say, hey, these already come packed, ready to go in a bag. And I have your travel workouts that are going to be different than your full gym access workouts, right? But it's about creating that callus. Not only can you get a great workout with bands alone, it's a great substitute for when you go travel and just go, hey, I'm going to keep the consistency of working out, but I don't have to be in a gym. Maybe my hotel, this happened to clients multiple times where they think they're going to have access to a gym and then the gym at their hotel is under construction or it's out of service for whatever reason, or the pieces of equipment are broken or somebody stole dumbbells out of there. Like, so there's something that's going on and you can't just bank all the time that like, oh yeah, I'm going to have access to that gym. So bringing bands yourself, and then mine, I get the ones that have a door anchor that come with it. So you literally just need a doorway. You know what I mean? Is that necessary? No, but it opens up a whole lot more movements that you can do with the bands. But yeah, man, bands are phenomenal. Like, don't feel like when we say home gym that you need full on squat racks and you need a full dumbbell set and like kettlebells and all this equipment. Like, you don't. Now we'll talk about that too, like in those areas and the things that you can get. We can probably give our best recommendations on like starting equipment too, which would be pretty cool.
And
but yeah, you don't need anything crazy, you know?
Yeah. Body weight too, right? Like you could do a variation of bands, body weight, just body weight.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I think folks struggle to think of, okay, like how can I progress that though? Right. And the cool thing is like you can do different variations of things like push-ups. You could do diamond push-ups. You could put your feet up.
Mm-hmm.
You could do pauses at the bottom for different amounts of time. That's going to put a lot more stress on it, a lot more progression. You can also do that with squats, different anything, right? Like you could do it. You could do like longer pauses, right? There's a lot of different things you can do to make the exercise harder and not even have to have weight. And I think that's a great thing where, sometimes what I'll have clients do is it's like, hey, like keep this workout in the back pocket where you just have 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 sit-ups, right? Yeah. And it's like that. It's like, you know what? I'm short on time. Instead of thinking that you have to have 20, 30, 40 an hour to get a workout in, it's like, just do that. It'll take you maybe 10 minutes. You knock that out and however many sets you got to do to knock it out. And you're at least doing something. And you're doing something that it's probably going to feel pretty good afterwards. And you can progress that, right? So that's kind of what I think about there. But then what I did is I actually looked up just different things out there, like how much they cost. And so I think we can go back and forth and kind of give people an idea. My first thing that I think is amazing is the old door pull-up bar.
Yeah.
You can do a
Yeah.
lot of stuff on there, right? You can
Yep.
do, I mean, pull-ups, like you can do different variations of pull-ups. You could do like abs,
Yep.
leg lift, like knee lifts, leg lifts, stuff like that. They're less than $30, right? You
Mhm.
can, it's super easy to get. All you need is a doorway. I know it can be worrisome for some folks. Make sure it is like a strong doorway, because otherwise it's going to break. But just know that like I can hang. Like I'm 230. I can hang in
Easy.
that bad boy and do
Same.
pull-ups, and
Same.
it's good.
Some of those too, you can actually flip them over. They make them too, where they're multi-versatile, where you can flip them. You can take them out of the anchor position, put them on the ground, and now you have an elevated push-up, or you can flip around, do dips on them because they're elevated off the ground a little bit. So like you can really get creative with one of those doorway pull-up
Yeah.
setups. And then also the thing I'd recommend too is they make one that's like I'd recommend not getting the one that wedges in between the door, like where those have a tendency to fall, but the ones where you like latch in and they hook on the opposite side and you can
Yes.
kind of pull it down. It creates leverage better. I just seen so many people fall when they have the one that just, it's almost, think of it like as like I think of like a towel, or like
Oh,
a
I didn't know those
shower,
existed.
like a shower curtain,
Oh,
like don't use that one. Like use the one that it hooks on the opposite side of the doorway and then it pulls down. It has the bars on the side too. And it usually comes with multiple grips too, which is kind of cool. Neutral grip, wide grip, like you can do chin ups on it. It's really cool.
no, that's huge. What's your first draft pick on the home gym?
Equipment. Are we talking home gym?
Home gym.
Um,
Something you'd
I'm going to
recommend.
go with adjustable set of dumbbells. I don't know if we have a dollar amount, but I'd say adjustable set of dumbbells just because of the amount of things you can do, man. Like I program for clients right now. That's the only piece of equipment that they have in addition to their travel bands. But as far as physical piece of equipment, extra something, additional to add in an additional weight to their body or to some sort of resistance that's aside from just their body weight, weighted dumbbells, man. Like, and I progress their cycles constantly, and making them more advanced as they go. And so it's just like, and we do full body workouts. Like I'm sure you'd agree with that too.
That's my number one draft pick for
Number
sure.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's number one.
Number one.
And like you said, it is probably the most expensive, but it's the
Mhm.
most versatile. I actually did a little bit of just digging here. So there's one on Amazon that you can have up to 55-pound dumbbells for $240. Another one for $350. There's one that goes up to 88 pounds each dumbbell that was $600. That's probably going to be the best $600 you've spent, especially if you're like a guy who
Yeah.
can lift a decent amount of weight.
Yeah.
If you're somebody who's just starting, go with the 5 to 50 pounds. You're going to be able to do anything you could possibly think of with
Yep.
with that weight. If you're somebody who's already been working out for a while, maybe it would make more sense to get the ones that go up to 88 pounds or more, because then you can, especially when it comes to leg exercises and like chest and back exercises, you're going to be able to overload those a lot more. So I would say by far best one there. Bands is like the by far, I think, best one for the starter that we just talked about. That's you can less than $30 for a set of bands. Anything else you have just on something, if you're like, okay, this is like another thing, like, somebody getting started, this would be a good thing to add to your home gym.
The only other thing that I've recommended to people, and it's solely based on their skill level. So you can kind of almost go like male, female, beginner, intermediate, advanced would kind of determine specifically what weight I would recommend here, but a kettlebell, a single kettlebell. With that, again, it's a way to add an external load, full body movements, and now you can kind of do a combination. So if you had your bands and your body weight, and then you also had a kettlebell, they come in kind of weird increments. They usually come in kilograms, but like on average, you can, in pounds, you can usually get one like super light. Like you can go like 8s, 10s, 12s, like that. I wouldn't recommend those really because it's not enough resistance. You can do that kind of resistance and cover that area with bands if you have bands. But then once you get past the bands a little bit and you want a little bit heavier external load, let's say like on the intermediate level, I'd go like a 18 to 25, 18 to 26, somewhere in there. If you're a little bit more advanced, you can go from like a 25 to 35. And then like super, super advanced, you can go like 53 and up. So, and with those weights alone, the amount of movements that you can do based on your skill level again, full body movements, so like, and then you got to think too, the combination. I would almost say that's like a progression from the body weight band setup. Like if somebody had that, and they didn't quite want to go like a couple $100 on dumbbells, the sweet spot in between there would be like, okay, where's your skill level at? And that would kind of determine the weight I would recommend just for a single kettlebell. And
Yeah.
with that, like you got a lot of options now too.
Which is good. But honestly, like those kettlebells can be expensive. So I would even just say, let's just, spend an extra $150 and get your starter adjustable dumbbell set. That would be, if you can, like find that money to do that. I'd say that makes a little bit more sense. If you're already going to spend it, because you're going to be able to do so much more with that.
Yeah.
And it's just the adjustable dumbbells, for one, they're so much easier, like when it comes to storage of them, but then also they're so much cheaper. Like it's so expensive to buy dumbbells. Another few things to round it off, like if you want to go exercise ball, those things are like, you could do a lot of good like core stuff with them, especially less than $20. Medicine balls are something too that you could add in, kind of like on the kettlebell side of things. They're going to be relatively, they're going to add up as you get higher in weight, but they could be a nice thing to go with. And what I do like to kind of round off the home gym is really look on like Facebook Marketplace,
Mm-hmm.
OfferUp, stuff like that. You're going to find some really good deals. I got a set of 75-pound, I think it's 85-pound and 100-pound dumbbells on Facebook Marketplace or on OfferUp for like a fraction of the amount that it would cost on like buying them new. It was probably half the price that I would have paid for those dumbbells. It was crazy. Like I couldn't. It was one of those can't afford not to situation.
Same. Yeah. Like I found a bunch of my stuff. Like you've seen my gym, my setup. I found a bunch of stuff on Facebook Marketplace, man. And
Yeah.
I've sold a bunch of stuff on there too. Stuff that like I wanted to flip and upgrade. I remember I sold my set of adjustable dumbbells because I wanted to put together the full set, like the rubber hex ones. I was like, okay, I want to upgrade. Like I've had these for a while. I could still sell these. I sold them around the time of COVID, and I got like 300 something for them. I paid a fraction of that for it. So it's just like there's people out there that will come and buy the equipment from you, especially people that are. It's like one of those things where you get in the habit of buying home gym equipment. It's like this never ending cycle. It kind of just like you get used to the equipment you have. You're like, okay, what's next? And there's always like that. What's next? What's next?
Yeah.
And so that would I would like caution people with that. That's like a thing that just happens when you build a home gym. But the pieces of equipment that you and I are talking about are like the tried and true. They're going to be there no matter what. And no matter how advanced your home gym gets, like those are always going to be the staples. Like I have all the bells and whistles, but like today, for example, I used the dumbbells, right? Like, and I have a bunch of equipment in there that I could use. I used, the tried and true, right? I used the barbell. I used it like I used the fundamental things like, the one thing that we didn't mention too is like in addition, almost like a combo pack with the adjustable dumbbells, I would say is, dude, Amazon has a great flat bench and it's like $40. It's like 40 or $50. I don't know if you guys know who like Coop is from Garage Gym Reviews, but he's like literally chained that thing up to a truck, had his buddy sit on it and just like pulled it down the street and it didn't break. Like, so it's like bulletproof. That was my first bench I got. And I found it used on, Facebook Marketplace. So brand new, it was like 40, $50. I bought it used for like 25 or $30, something like that. And dude, that thing was, I ended up giving it to one of my clients when I upgraded. So it's just like, dude, if a lot of different things you can do on a bench too. You don't need it. It's not necessary. But if you're like, man, I'm tired of doing my presses and stuff on the floor and things like that, like, and you wanted a not so super expensive piece of equipment, or you found let's say you're planning to spend 250 and you found a set of adjustable dumbbells used on Facebook Marketplace for 150 or 200. Well, now you got that extra $50 to play with. And then like, now you can go ahead and get that bench, so that's a good idea too. I would almost never like buy stuff brand new. I'd always check like used first because you'll get it from people. It is brand new. They don't use it, right? Let's face it. I guarantee you can find all kinds of equipment out there. I'm always looking, even if I don't need anything, I'm just looking for equipment. I always got like the alerts and reminders on my Facebook Marketplace. Like you can find some absolute gems on there.
I love it, dude. Well, how about next is going to the gym.
Mm,
So there's a lot of different tiers here. You know, you can start with like the budget gyms, like the Planet Fitness, Crunch, Blink, EOS, where you're going to probably run yourself anywhere between 20 or 10 and like 30, $40
hmm
a month. One thing with these gyms, so really like you're going to be able to find some of these like EOS. I went to EOS for $22 a month for a long time. They had everything I needed there. They had like every piece of equipment you could think of, like dumbbells that went up to 150 pounds,
mm.
just tons and tons of stuff. Even a sauna, right? Like sauna, pool. It really, really, really good on that kind of side of things. All the cardio equipment, anything you possibly need. It's just crowded, right? It's going to be a lot more crowded in those gyms. It's going to be some of those gyms, like the Planet Fitnesses, are going to be lacking certain equipment. I've heard that they don't go up to very high dumbbells, and they don't really have like a lot of barbells or any barbells in there that you can really go heavy on. The vibes are going to be off a little bit, right? They're going to be a little weird,
They're gonna
but
have pizza there for you on Thursdays or Fridays, or
really, like for the money, if you don't go in and work out at like that right after work time frame, you're probably going to be in a good spot with those. You're
yeah,
going to save yourself a lot of money. It's going to have everything you possibly need, and it's a good place to start with.
yep, yeah, absolutely. Like especially if you're looking for something on a budget, like and two, if you're starting out, like you're not gonna need like the advanced pieces of equipment, like the
Yeah.
places like the Planet Fitnesses and stuff like that. Like they're gonna have everything you need and more. I think the bigger issue is like prove to yourself that you can show up consistently. That's the big thing. Like, yeah, you're paying 10, $15 a month. It's going to be affordable, but they also understand that that pay 10 to $15 a month, majority of them are not going to show up. So if that is you and you're like, okay, I do want to spend money on the cheaper gym membership, make sure you go. Like that's the big thing. It's like it doesn't matter the price of the gym membership, whether you're at a Equinox or you're at Planet Fitness, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just make sure you show up consistently. And so if that becomes a hurdle for you and you find like that traveling to the gym becomes a struggle, then like maybe the home gym is something that with some of those basics and fundamentals, like you might do better off with that. But I think this all comes down to showing up. What's the next tier? So we have like the 10 to
Yeah.
25, right? And you went to one that was 20 something.
It was like 22 a month at
That's
EOS. They
great
had
with all
more
the
packages.
amenities. Yeah.
Yeah, that allowed me to go to any EOS in the state.
Oh,
Right, so
wow.
it
That's
was
cool.
pretty crazy. They had a lower package. Mid tier is the next up. Like you're in the 30 to 40 to $80 a month.
hmm
LA Fitness 24-hour Gold's Gym, Crunch, like
Yep.
certain packages at Crunch Fitness, I guess. Probably Anytime Fitness would fall into this. Like there's a lot of different ones here, and it's the thing about these is it's I mean, it's just they're very similar to the lower tier or budget gyms, but they're just going to have a little bit more amenities. They're going to have maybe a little bit more of a committed clientele in there. It's probably going to be similarly busy to the
hmm
other gyms, but as you go up, I don't know if we need to spend like a tons and tons of time on all of these different packages, just because it's like as you go up, you're going to get into like less people at the gym. You're going to get into probably a little bit more committed people, a lot more amenities. Like maybe you're going to have like nicer showers and towels at your disposal, and a steam room and a sauna and like a spa and maybe they got a place where you can get smoothies after. And like it's kind of as you go up, and then you're going to get to the point where you get into like the equinoxes and different stuff like that, where it's like, I don't even know if people work out there. I'm not 100% sure. Do,
yeah.
do they, or do they just go there to hang out? I don't
Yeah.
know.
There's one like what's the other one? The other one is called Soho House or whatever. Like those
Oh,
are more like memberships where you're like part of a small city kind of thing, like it's like you go there to do whatever. I know people that have those gym memberships that don't go there to work out. They go there for everything else, so it's like, I mean, yeah, you can go as expensive as you want. I think the biggest thing is like, what are you going to do most consistently? That's the biggest thing. The other thing is we should talk about the services that come with them as far as like personal trainers and stuff too. Like, uh,
yeah.
you
Well, I
know,
think that's like kind of the next step. But
yeah.
I would just kind of wrap up that. I don't know if you got anything else to say on this. Like you can also do like the classes, like the Orange Theories, F45. Pilates, CrossFit. Like there's going to be
Yeah.
a lot more of those out there too. They're going to be a little bit more expensive, maybe on a per class basis. I know a CrossFit, you did it for a long period of time, like a pretty expensive, but a lot more community
Yeah.
associated with it. If that's something you're looking for, I know it's a lot
150 to
easier.
200 bucks a month on
Yeah.
average on a CrossFit gym.
Yeah. But you do get like it's a lot easier. I know like when you have people around you that are going through that same struggle and they're doing the same thing, it is a lot easier to show up on a
Yep.
daily basis and people will hold you more accountable. It's almost like having a personal trainer without having a personal trainer type of deal there. But then I would just say like one of the big things that's a benefit of going to the gym, whether you go for the budget or the high end, like luxury private type stuff, or anything in between, is that a lot of times it's just finding out like how do you get more consistent? Like, are you somebody that does need to get out of the house and get the workout in, or are you somebody that can do it at home? Are you somebody that needs somebody else, like where you want to get a gym partner, or you want to get somebody who comes over to your house and does a workout with you at your house, or that you go to them? Or are you somebody who can get motivated enough to do a good workout by yourself? Like, so it's kind of figuring out what you need and then going from there. And then it's like, do you need professional help? Like, do you
Mhm.
actually need somebody to design a program for you and really hold your hand through the process and like really make sure that you're showing up? And that's where the personal training, online coaching would come into play. And what is, your first thoughts on that side of things?
I think it depends on the person and where they're at in their journey. But if they're more on the newer side, or they're just kind of getting into things, I think it's investing in a coach or a community, something that's going to help assist you along your process, is going to be so much better. You're going to save so much time. The likelihood of you showing up more consistently is going to be way higher. And so if you want it to actually stick, invest in some sort of community based thing, a coach or trainer. And then from there, then you can go more of the stuff that we were talking about, like just getting your general gym membership and going on your own, or maybe with a friend or something. But like, have a foundation, do whatever's going to set you up for a foundation, a solid foundation first. Meaning, like, are you moving well correctly? Do you know how to program consistently, or have you done and followed a reliable system and program that you can now do it on your own? Or maybe if you go by yourself, just invest in some programming, right? So that if you feel like confident in your movement already, but you're just like, man, I show up here and I don't know what to do, or I do the same 5 exercises every time, then investing in a program, good, bad, ugly, and different, that you can actually like follow, so you have some guidance in there, would be my recommendation. Like, start with that first. You need some sort of solid foundation where you can get in a position where you're not just walking in there, twiddling your thumbs and like doing the same movement, or like, oh, they're doing that movement, so I guess I should do that. Like, no, go in there with intention and purpose. Maybe if you're just starting out and like you're just working on getting in there, that's cool. But once you get over that kind of beginner newbie stage, like, you're going to be faced with some decisions of like, do I just keep doing the same thing? Like, you're going to have those questions coming up. Why do I look the same all the time? Why does nothing change? And I've been coming consistently. It's like, that's that next step of like, okay, if you can do this on your own, great. But I suggest getting some guidance, being part of a community, and then you can start to do stuff on your own after that. But you got to build some sort of foundation first. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah, that's good piece of advice there. And then just so anybody even knows, like, personal training, especially because we're kind of on like a person type deal. What you can expect is like, some sort of initial assessment, customized workout plans that are hopefully tailored to you specifically. Technique correction. Hopefully they're going through and they're like giving you tips on like, oh no, like make sure you're doing this on squats or whatever. Maybe nutritional guidance. Some will be skilled with nutrition, be able to give you recommendations there on how you can improve in the kitchen, with your diet. Accountability, checking in with you right, a little bit more regularly, seeing how things are going, seeing how your workouts are going outside of the gym, encouraging you. And then like more specialized stuff, when it comes to workouts. Now, one thing I want to say is that like not all of them are created equal. So like just because
Yeah.
somebody's out there, there's probably what, like 1,000, 10,000 like shitty trainers for everyone that's actually
Yeah.
good.
I don't know what the percentages are, but yeah, you just got to be careful. Like, if the prices are low, they're low for a reason, right? They're either just starting out, which is nothing against those trainers. Like, we've all had to start there. We used to coach for free, right? And so like, I think if you go, you were talking about something really important. You were like, go for the assessment. They usually do some sort of like free assessment or walkthrough or baseline or introductory workout. That's where you can really start to grasp and go, is this something I want to invest in? Like, do they have a free option first where I can try it out? And that's what I'd recommend. Go and try out a bunch of different stuff, like taste some different stuff and figure out, that way you can kind of figure out what's best for you. I know CrossFit gyms, they have like bring your friend day. Like you can go and do those, you can do a free class like that. A lot of the personal trainers will take you through some sort of baseline or intro class where they just want to see you how you move, and just get a set of eyes on you. And are they actually coaching you up? Do they give a shit about you? Do they sound like they know what they're talking about? Like, are they listening to the things that you've done before, where your experience is at, and are they meeting you where you're at? Like, those are all things I would pay attention to, and that will definitely help you, like, oh, this is worth investing in. Or, dude, this guy's just taking me through the motions, like not even paying attention to me. Like, it may not be for you. So that's a great opportunity. What you were talking about is like, test out the free stuff. Like go try a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah. And to kind of wrap it up, like what you can kind of expect on the cost side of things, say generally like typical trainers like are gonna run you maybe $40 to $70 per session, $50 to $100 an hour. It's going to be a lot different though. It's in based on location, their experience level, qualifications. There's going to be a lot of different things. High end trainers and like trainers that are like really, really qualified are going to be a lot more than that. And
yeah,
and if you do want to go in that direction, you know, I would say just look, like ask around, right? Like there's going to be people, like if you're going to a gym, like there's people that are with the trainers, like, you know, that ask them after their session, like, how do you like him or whatever? Like, has he helped you? Like where were you at before? Where are you now? Like kind of get an idea from other people. Cause like referrals are always the easiest way to get some good quality people, is like good experience from other folks. So that's kind of where I would just wrap up for people. Obviously online training is going to be, even like a little bit cheaper potentially, depending on like what you're doing. Now, if it includes nutrition and different things like that, it's going to potentially be even way more expensive than that. But generally, that's more on a monthly basis that you're paying, as opposed to like a per session type deal. And so, yeah, just do your own research, ask around, try things out, like Matt was saying, and figure out what works best for you. Whether that's a home gym, whether that's in person gym, whether that's a trainer, whether that's a class, whether that's whatever it may be. And yeah, you got anything else to wrap us up here?
Yeah, just the online training option is a great. I'm extremely biased because that's what I do, and I've done all the other things. But the reason I've done it and settled on it as a coach is because I can offer way more for the same or less than what I would charge for in-person, just personal training. And I can give the training aspect, nutrition, and accountability, all three in one. And I can charge about the same or even slightly less than I would charge for just one personal training session that requires me to be there from a coaching perspective, where I can still have a set of eyes on you virtually. You send me a video, right? Like, so the amount of offer that, or the amount of things and value that I can offer from an online perspective versus in person is way better. So I think it's a win-win for both sides from a business and coaching perspective. I get to offer more to the client gets to receive more. And then that way they also have access and they're held accountable 24/7, versus if somebody just comes to me in person let's call it 3 times a week for 45-minute sessions each. That's cool for 45-minute, 45. We're not focused on nutrition. I'm not holding them accountable outside of those 3 sessions because I don't get paid to do that, but I will be there. So they have incentive to show up for that session, that in terms of accountability in that aspect. But the other 23 hours throughout the day, I don't know what they're doing. And I'm not helping them with nutrition, right? So a lot of times you're not going to find that in a personal trainer in person. So if you get all 3 of those things, fitness, you get customized programming, you get to log your stuff in an app, you get a set of eyes on you by submitting video and get direct feedback. You got the fitness side of things. Then you got nutrition where they're holding you accountable to that. And then you have access to ask questions 24/7. Like, that's, to me, that blows everything way out of the water in what you get in terms of what you're paying versus the other options. But again, I'm biased. That's what I do. That's what I've settled on. but I'm just giving my honest opinion. I feel like if I'm in the client's shoes, the best bang for my buck would absolutely be online. If I'm looking to do it seriously and I want it to stick and I want everything, I want the fitness, I want to be held accountable to it, and I want somebody to help me from the nutritional aspect of it, online. If you just want to do like the fitness side of things and you got the other stuff on your own, you don't need to be held accountable or anything like that, then pick one of those cheaper gym memberships. Like that's going to be perfect for you. Maybe you just might invest in like programming to follow in like a low tier gym membership for like 10, 15 bucks, whatever. Like that'll work sweet for you if that's your scenario. But if you need like everything, online. And then if you're kind of in between where you're like, I just need to be held accountable. Like I need somebody to hold me, hold my hand through the physical side of things, and I'll figure out the nutrition on my own. Then a personal trainer in person is probably going to be your best bet. So it kind of just depends what you need, right? Like if you need the whole thing and you want it to stick, go online, because you're going to be able to have access to a coach to ask them questions throughout your journey. And they're going to just be right by your side the entire time, versus the other ones, they're very limited. And that means that you got to be able to pick up the loose ends on your own. So if you have the ability to do that, go for it. I recommend that to people. But if not, consider online.
Good shit. Well, hey, thanks everybody for taking some time out of your day to watch and listen. We hope you enjoy this one. If you did, make sure you put a like on it for us. It helps us out a lot. And if you aren't currently, make sure you subscribe or follow us on whatever platform you're watching and listening, so that we can continue to give you some great videos every single week. We appreciate you. Hope you have a good rest of the day, week. We'll be talking to you soon.